to Dolls Redesigned, Episode 2. Here I will be showing off Jadiciére, a dark elven mage, and Jewel, her unicorn companion. If you're wondering where the word Jadiciére comes from, jade, of course, the color of her hair, and the ending cière is like sorcière, which is the French word for witch. So here she is. Now, I do apologize, this is an early project. I do not have any live action work. It's been very difficult for me with my learning curve of just figuring out how to do the doll as well as how to film it at the same time. It's not really my forte, neither is technology, but I will get to it. So I just decided to show her off and do it this way. So I've not been doing dolls for very long, maybe 1 or 2 years, but I do have 35 plus years crafting experience. So that's helped me figure it out. So kept it really simple for the beginning. I did not reroot, did not really do anything to the hair except for condition it, clean it up, and just leave it as is. I did not use pastels either, nor did I try and use the pencil crayons. I just used acrylics quite simply. I do think though the eyes came out quite well, honestly, considering I did get quite a sparkle going. Was just trying to go around the iris there. So yeah, I enjoyed the eyelashes too. Everything's done in acrylic again. The top part of the face I kind of shaded in with a sponge and acrylics, doing layers. The bottom part here you see is all acrylics again. I just, of course, it comes, this monster eye comes with the gray tips to her extremities, and I just added the swirls in different colors and layers of acrylics. And I added some accessories for her. Here is her sort of gazing ball or witch's ball, all done with Fimo. And then some acrylic just to, darken in the edges and make it a little bit more funky. Added some fur there just at the base of the saddle to hold it all together. The saddle, of course, has some nice little details of rhinestones and different stick-on stickers that I got from Michael's, my favorite stop for all of my crafting needs. She's pretty neat. Jewel the unicorn here, she has an actual LED light that lights up the center of her forehead, and that little star too. You can't really see it, but I will show it later in darker lighting. Here I've made the saddle detail all with leather that I've kind of sewn together and glued on. I've also added some details to her flanks, and she did get a boil root. She got a bit more detail on the hair, not the actual doll itself. The staff I just decided to leave in there because it's difficult to get out. That's done with a chopstick and Fimo wrapped around it, as well as an actual crystal at the top of it. The detailing I did as well on it after. Her eyes, Jewel's eyes, that was tricky. Hard to get the details. I did make her, there you can see the light LED coming out. It's very cool. I did make her I was going to say corn, but that's the French word for horn. I made that out of Fimo and the base, and maybe actually a chopstick as well. I don't even remember now. It's been quite a while. So you can see the glow kind of comes through the cracks, which I thought was pretty nice. So there she is again. And so that was my first real experience with trying to make such a detailed character. Of course, added on all of the little jewels and stuff after. I made it a little bit easier on myself. All the leather pieces on both the horse and on her actually are glued right on, so that definitely made it easier. There's a still of her and just some funky lighting. And you can see the top of the staff a little bit better. That was a bit of an adventure because I actually tried to glue it on and then bake the Fimo after, and the crystal actually kind of fell part out and I had to re-glue it back on. Now her necklace you see is just a little jump ring, and that little green shell there is actually a shell I brought back all the way from Costa Rica. So it's a shell that's been in my keeping for about 20 some years. You know those things you hang on to and hoard? Well, they can eventually come in handy. I know that's perhaps not the best thing to tell people because then we just hang on to everything, but it all comes out somewhere in some kind of project. That's really the fun of this work, I find, is just recycling up stuff. I get all my dolls and my horses secondhand. I get them at Value Village. We have another secondhand place here in Quebec called Renaissance. great stuff. You know, I far prefer to just recycle and reuse rather than purchase new dolls. The occasional time I do give in because I see something really funky, like you'll see in a future video, something I found in a dollar store actually. But yeah, that's part of my love. I love steampunk and I love all that sort of stuff. So here's my lessons learned. That's my toupee in the background. So do look at drawing reference images as well as, oops, spelling typo there, as well as photos for how to draw eyes. That's how I got her eyes. I had to go back and forth. So it was difficult between going with the actual real images of the eyes and the drawing images. That's how I really kind of tweaked it. So yeah, next lesson is do experiment with different fabrics and don't be afraid to adhere directly to the doll. I know there's a lot of great seamstresses out there and people who can just make the doll clothes that come off and with the little tabs. That's amazing. For me at the beginning here, I just needed to keep it simple and to get it the way I really liked, and just flush and looking nice. I just glued it directly on. You know, there's some purists out there who won't do that, but if you're starting, sometimes it's okay to cut corners. Next lesson is do know the heat resistances of different glues and adhesives. I had a tough time with that staff, the crystal, because I hot glued it on and then put the Fimo on top, then put the whole thing in the oven. Well, guess, of course, what happens? Even at a low temperature, that's just going to melt away. So read your labels and just get to know your glues. Last lesson is don't be afraid to redo something, but do know when to stop or step back. That's a big one. I had to redo the eyes of Jewel. They were little crystals. They did not look good. My boyfriend's like, that looks horrible. Sometimes that's horrible to hear, but sometimes you need the honest to look at things. And then you also need to know when to let go. Big lesson, eh? So here is the back of my condo, just where I'm sitting to voice over this. If you hear any noise in the background, birds, kids, whatever, it's because I'm outside in my lovely outside seating area. And you can see I've got some crafting next to me, a little patch, satchel, that I'm making. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope that I said them all. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Thanks very much for joining me.